Free on the F1 game. I am your host Brett, joined with my co-host Big Boy VA, or Daniel, as you know, or as I will be referring to him during the commentary stream. Say hi.
Well, I'd rather not.
I'm just changing my volume. Sorry for the blue screen, everyone. But I mean, we're round 11. It's Austria. We're looking at the likes of Cone at the moment. There's recently been a few issues with streams and stuff, so bear with us if we have any problems tonight. Just to be aware, the guy going to be setting his first lap in tonight's first qualifying, or well, in tonight's qualifying session will be X_Vaporon. I mean, we're going to be seeing some different names here, won't we, Daniel?
Well, absolutely. A lot of drivers have moved around. I don't think last time Forbes and Will were a part of Fireboy, but they've joined the academy, and Vaporon's also left TTG now. He's a part of the Fireboy management team. So FV putting their work in is now Jordan. I'll call him Vaporon, but he is coming through the third sector right now.
Well, we know how tricky these final corners can be, especially during the race when we come to the pit stages, as he does get a lot of understeer during this lap, not helping as he makes his way across the line. It will be in a validation, a 4.2 to add on. Artillero though coming through setting a 4.4, quickly beaten by Will G with a 4.3. D Warren with a decent qualifying there, going with a 4 flat. Andreo beats out his teammate for 4th position with a 0.3, and Forbes currently behind his championship rival in 3rd position.
Absolutely, those two have been going at it for a lot of the season. They've both been pretty consistent, pretty consistently at the front, and I think they might be ready to move up next season into F2. That's just that's just to throw it out there. It could happen, but it is D Warren ahead by just about 3/10 on Will. He's moved now to Red Bull as Vaporon has gone over to Haas. So those two have made the switch. Now Vaporon partners, I think it's Nico, who's not here tonight, and then D Warren partners Mikulitsi.
I don't know why they done the switch there. I mean, that was quite a big downgrade for Vaporeon, but we will just have to see. Maybe it was a mistake or something, I'm not too sure. But let's look at the likes of Bakeze. It comes around the final corner and will cross the line here, and he will go second with a 4.2. Again, we've seen this last week where there was a big gap between the leader and the guy in second. Now, I'm just wondering, maybe is Dylan running his controller, which might give him a lot of assist around here, as there's very heavy tracks and zones, and this is seen as one of the biggest pad OP tracks. But we've had a lot of arguments on Twitter about this, and I mean, I think we need to just possibly stop referring to pad OP now.
Well, it's definitely caused a lot of controversy, and people are already writing off F1 2020 as being a pad OP game, when they actually do need to remember it is still in its beta phase, so they might not have tweaked everything yet, but it is a bit ridiculous. Regardless, it's a good time from Dylan right now, especially on a banker lap.
Well, as we look at the championship kind of battle, I don't exactly know the thing, because I still can't work the AOR website. I mean, it doesn't really favour the people that possibly struggle to find these things, but I believe Will G is ahead of Forbes in the standings now. Well, Forbes kind of had a dominant phase this season, and recently just it's fallen off a bit, not being able to bring home the results. I think last week he came home with a 6th place, maybe lower.
I'll just bring up the. I'll mention the standings in a moment.
Bruno though, he's again been someone I've liked to see what his end results is this season. He usually sneaks up with his good race results, but not really been that guy in quality this season to really show his name. We will see how he does tonight though during the race, but I believe last week he didn't really have that kind of exciting race that he's had in the likes of China. So we'll see how he gets on tonight, and we'll make sure to keep an eye on him. Vapron is setting another invalidation, really not finding any luck at the moment. While we look at all the fit tyres, everyone is going for the soft compound, meaning it is most likely going to be dry for the start of the race, at least. While everyone is in the pool, and down you go there, I'm just talking too much.
I'll just quickly run through the championship standings. It is Will G currently leading it right now. Of course, he won the last. Actually, it's not been updated for Canada, it seems. Yeah, no, it's not been updated.
That's not very helpful.
Canada on the website, but from Germany at least, Will G was leading with Caden in second, and it's third for Bruno. I think it's Ayrton in fourth, and fifth is Baki. That is the top five. As Forbes goes quickest, two Fire Void Academy drivers currently locking out the front row.
Well, we know these two are best friends outside the racing. But when it comes to this, we know both Forbes and Will are really desperate to win this title.
Absolutely, a championship win could book them a place in AOR F2 next season. I think that Caden said in his on Twitter that he wants to be in AOR F1 by the end of next game. If I read that right.
Well, yeah, he did say AOR F1 that game. I mean, it has a long way to go. It's sitting at 3.9 though. That would, I reckon, get an alright position, but it's a small track, so there's not much kind of gaps, would you say, when it comes to racing and qualifying around here. Let's look on board with Andreo though, as he goes to settle up. He's 4 tenths up at the moment. This is going to possibly put him on pole actually. He comes round the final corner, nears the start finish line, crossing the line now, and goes P2, missing out by 1100 of a second, I believe.
11 thousandths of a second. The 1100s would be 1/10. Yeah.
Sorry. My bad.
Quick mathematics.
Quick mathematics, and my brain doesn't function. Let's see. I'm saying M a lot tonight. This is not going to be good. I'm mainly looking on Twitter at the moment to try and get a stream link up.
Jamie James has left the session. That's interesting to see from him.
I'm on board with
just
Baki right now. If you want to take his lap, he's halfway through.
Absolutely. So through the first sector, he was 3/100ths of a second down, but there's still room to improve. He's now coming through the double left-hander. Easy to invalidate there, but he seemed to have kept it nice and neat. He's now 1.5 tenths up through the third sector. You're going very fast through here, and now to almost through the penultimate corner. You barely brake for that one. It's a completely high-speed corner as he invalidates it on exit there. It's really easy to run wide, and what was he going to set? He would have set a 104.1, so that would have seen him move up ahead. No, he would have stayed in 5th, actually. I'd presume he'd have backed out for the end of that, as Yaskov goes 5th place. He's not had the best season as Yaskov, aside from his surprise at P2 in Germany after that chaotic race. Saw him with no penalties shoot to 2nd place. Could have had the win. It was close between him and Will, but he was a day late and $1 short. That's what Martin Brunder would say. As I don't know if anyone else is on a lap right now. I think Vaporeon. He's invalidated it again. That's 3 invalidations for the Haas drivers.
Well, we're looking at kind of the gap right now to the leader, and from 15th to 1st, it's a 1.4 second gap. as Bruno actually begins his lap here, coming into sector 1, braking at around the 100 metre board, going into turn 1. Andrea getting in the way possibly, but as he makes his way now up the hill, going up the, I believe it's actually counted as a corner, is it not?
Yeah, the hill is.
Right, so going for turn 3, they're getting a very nice exit from Bruno, as that is quite a tricky traction though, now going down the second DRS straight into the downhill hairpin, braking just after the 100 metre board, getting the car turned down nicely, keeping to the right of the track as now he comes through the double left-hander, full speed. Also setting it very nicely, using a bit of the curb on the right, then turning in. He's set a purple sector 2 there, he's 2 temps up at the moment. As he now goes through the penultimate corner, using all the curb on the right, making sure he uses all the track available. Coming through the final corner now, up to the line. What's it going to be? Bruno goes P8 with a 1:4.365.
That was a pretty impressive time from Bruno. That solidifies him in 8th place at the moment. He's just behind Cohen, who's only 4 tenths, just about 4 tenths back from Forbes. So the field looking really close right now. I was actually going to compare what the times were compared to AOR F1, but they did a wet qualifying, so
well, speaking of Forbes, as he now comes for the penultimate corner, now in the final, the corners come so fast that you just hard to keep up, but he now sets his second time of the session and does improve to a .857. That's a very nice lap there from Forbes, but will it be pole position tonight?
well, I think he's a strong candidate for pole position. Despite the improvement, he's still only a tenth of Anderoa in 2nd position. As now LeBron rejoining the session, he's going to want to improve that lap. He's way back in 13th right now.
Well, as we look on board now with Dylan Warren, he now makes his way up the hill in his very nice brand new Red Bull, coming up to turn 3 as you're saying it is, so I'm just going to take it on board. Does set a purple first sector there, so he has a nice start to the lap, but doesn't really get the exit he wants off the corner there. Now coming down the hill into the, I mean, would you call it a fast hairpin? It's quite a steep decline. And oh, big tank slapper there from the Red Bull driver, and luckily saves it, coming through now the 2 left-handers, and the lap is went down the drain, and he'll have to pull himself and come again.
Looks like he was struggling with his rear there. I don't know what that's all about, but from the way he was moving his steering wheel, I think he is on the wheel tonight. It's not as jaggedy as a pad would look. I mean, I guess at this level they're really pretty smooth with their movements. It's almost impossible to tell when he's actually getting held up by his teammate, who also just came into the pits.
That's not going to be helpful, but it is a short lap, so he's still got a lot of time. As a Toro Rosso driver comes out of MNT LeBron, we've not really given him much coverage this qualifying session. We'll see how he gets on tonight. It's actually Jamie James has just started a lap, coming up the hill now in his racing point. I mean, we talk about Jamie James a lot, since he's kind of made a big impression to the start of his AOR career. I mean, coming in about halfway through the season and really showing his pace. Maybe he's not been the most consistent driver of all, but he's definitely been one to put on a show.
Well, he had a pretty good qualifying out in Germany 2 races ago. He's only done 2 races, I think, and he had one really good one in Germany. Well, I believe it was good. And then he had a pretty poor one out in Canada, from what I remember. Of course, it's a bit hazy for me. But he's coming through the 3rd sector right now. I'll finish this lap off. He's currently through the final corner. I don't know what corner number that is, as now he crosses the line. He's only going to get 14th. He's a 104.629, not where he wants to be. He's just under 8 tenths off the pace.
Well, let's look on board with the likes of MNT LeBron. Like I said, we might give him a little bit more coverage tonight as he comes through turn 1 there, struggling a bit on the exit with the yellow curb, but making his way now up the hill. The Toro also, people say, is the worst car on the grid. As Andrea gets right out of the way, trying his best not to hold up LeBron a bit, but look at the lag.
I was about to say, he's got really bad connection issues. It looked like he got held up and he's actually backed out on this lap. It might have been from Anderoa getting in his way a little bit, despite him going completely off the track to avoid him. It looks like a car park down in the second sector. So many cars using the same piece of tarmac.
A lot of people invalidating their laps here, but one that person that is not invalidated but yet to be shown on the stream it's Cohen. Has a bit of calling by his old name, but he backs out his lap. He's really just not having one of them nights tonight.
Oh well, he does have another opportunity if he gets round quick enough, which he should be able to do. He can start up another lap and maybe try for pole position. He's going to have a little bit worn tyres already, but it should be okay for him. He should be able to have a good lap. He's coming through the third sector now. I don't know if we'll follow along with him.
Well, I'm following along with Will G at the moment, who really needs to put kind of a bit of competition on Rob Forbes at the moment, or, well, that was the name before. Damn. His esports teammate, Forbes, as he comes now the penultimate corner. I'm sure he'll use all the curb on the inside, and yes, he does. Really wring the neck out as Williams here through the final corner. Will he take pole position off Forbes? No, he doesn't. Forbes securing himself in the P1 with a 3.7. Doing a lot of things in his part. I'm gonna get beaten up. Forbes, I love you. Don't worry. Just trying to save myself.
Oh, but now he's 2 tenths ahead of second place Anderoa, who wasn't able to put in another lap. I don't know who's finishing a lap. I think Cohen is the next one to cross the line. He was just under 2 tenths up on his lap through the second sector. This could be good for him. He could maybe see himself enter the top 5, as now he runs really wide, and that'll see him invalidate. Yeah, what's the time going to be anyways? He would have gone into P5?
P5. I was watching him there. It seems like the setup's just a bit unsteady. It wasn't attaching itself to the ground much. As we missed Bruno's lap as well. Makes his way into the pits now.
Mikuletsi.
Mikuletsi going P7 of 4.3 there. Very nice lap. Very nice. That's you saying.
Well, looks like that is the end of qualifying, as Solid Ninja Snake, his AI is going to take the flag, as that should be the end, as Forbes, Bruno and Zach all pull into the pit lane. We will await the end of qualifying and we can go through in the formation lap.
Well, yes, we will. I was just putting a hat on because my headset is a bit broken at the moment. Just looking to see. I reckon we can. Did the results disappear, or are they even popped up yet?
Oh, they haven't done for me. I don't know.
I'm looking at curb.
They haven't popped up. Well, we'll go through them on the formation lap, I guess.
Very helpful there, I would say. Fine, it makes it better for us.
Well, yeah, we didn't have to have the rush. Only 60 drivers today. As we await the drivers to put in their strategies and change their fuel loads. I'll ask you, Brett, why not? Who do you think is going to get on the podium today?
podium?
Yep.
Let me think. Just trying. Right. I think Baki will be a big candidate for tonight's podium. I feel like he's going to bring a big fight to Will and Forbes as he has done recently. I think Forbes is going to be untouchable tonight though. It's just the pace round here is very good for him. As I've seen in other leagues, he was competing with really quick guys, so props to him. Andreo though, in P2, this is a bit of a... We've seen Andreo really show his pace in qualifying recently. I believe last week he got P3 as well, or P2, one of them. It's just, if he can stay in front of Will, that can be very important.
I actually think last weekend he and Terra Racer got involved in an accident down the final chicane. His race really didn't go too well, but he had the pace.
But what was his qualifying though? That's what I meant. He was.
Oh, I can't. I don't actually remember.
I meant it was top 3 in qualifying, I believe. That's what I was saying. I didn't mean to say podium. Will G though needs to focus on getting past that sort of disconnection. We might be having a lobby restart maybe, because people's left the session.
We haven't gone through the grid.
We haven't gone through the grid. So in pole position is FVA Forbes, and P2 is BMS Andreo, looking to maybe take first position in the start. FVA Will G will have to focus on bringing a fight to Forbes tonight. Yazkov is standing on the grid at the moment, ends McLaren. Going to be in P4, then Baki follows behind him, Mick in P7, BMS Artillero in P8, it's Cohen P9, and rounding out the top 10 is Bruno on soft tyres, LR Zach behind him in 11th, starting on soft, Ayrton, NER underscore Ayrton P12, and there's Renault starting mediums. It looks like both actually the Renault drivers right beside each other, Sullivan and P13, and both starting on mediums. Jamie James opting for the softs in 15th, and Vaporon starting last place. But as they prepare their cars, and my voice will definitely be dying tonight, as the lights go on, 5 red lights are out, and away we go for the start of the Austrian Grand Prix. It is a very good start from FVA Forbes, but Andreo doesn't really get anything done on him. Mick, let's see, round the outside, and actually has a little bit of a tank slapper on back of there, as it looks like as Cohen tries to put up a fight against his teammate Mikelitsi. No success there. Back is still down the inside of Mick, and Mick holds the position, getting the ultimate grip round the outside. Artillero now in PA doesn't really get the move done in any of the Mercedes just yet.
Looks like it was a bad start for Zach. He's dropped all the way down into 14th. Ayrton's found himself in 9th, and Mikulitsi's also had a really good getaway. Yaskov finds himself holding P4. This is probably the highest he's been throughout the season in terms of not on penalties. He's not been the quickest driver so far, but he's certainly been consistent as he sits now in 4th. He had a really good qualifying as we are rounding out the first lap. Forbes has had a really good run on Andorra, and I actually want to predict him to win the Grand Prix. There's a battle going on behind between Victorian and Solid Ninja Snake. He gets the move done on the Renault driver.
But it looks like the driver might come back on the exit. No, it's actually Jamie James down the inside of Solid Ninja Snake into turn 1 there. It's very hard to say his name very quickly, but we'll get it done. Jamie James gets a very nice grip coming out the exit of turn 1 and gets it done on the Renault driver. But LR Zach also looking to put a fight as he goes down the inside of the Renault driver, but doesn't get anything done there as it's late braking from Sullivan to Snake. NER Ayrton now feeling the pressure from Bruno as the soft compound tyre will be the quickest tyre for about the first kind of 12 laps of this Grand Prix. The 12 lap is really your best pit stop time if you can make it that long. Well, no, it's easy to make it that long, but if you're in like kind of a nice position of the track. Will G sticking with Andrew sticking with Forbes. That's an important to today's Grand Prix. They need to stick with the driver in front, and it will keep the whole train together. As we know, DRS train is a huge factor around here, and especially when DRS is enabled this lap and there's only 2 drivers that have a second gap. Actually, no drivers now.
Well, it was a really clean start throughout the field, and Yaskov dropping back from where it looks like the front 3 are going to be able to get away, but Forbes is going to be coming under pressure from Anderoa very soon, but well, it's not going to be too difficult for him to get back past the big lockup from Anderoa there. He goes deep on the brakes, late apex into turn 4, I think that is. He is following behind Forbes, 5/10 separate them.
I think at the moment Will G is really looking off the pace compared to the front 2 at the moment, draining a lot more ERS, currently on about 40% ERS compared to their 70 to 60%. The drivers ahead really showing the pace here, but as there's a little bit of an understeer and a little bit of a slide from Forbes coming out, the 2 final corners, it's allowed Andrea to pull up to the back of the Racing Point driver, as Will G does actually set fastest lap there. But will it be enough to stick with the front 2 as they look to get battling as they go up the hill? Andrea with DRS, will he catch in this corner, or will he make it in the hairpin? He holds back at the moment, putting it into none ERS, closing up in the braking zone and almost smashing into the back of Forbes. And it looks like that has actually hindered him coming down the straight here and won't get the move done just yet.
Further back behind, Coburn has found his way up 3 positions from the start. He's now into P6. It's been very good to get away from him. He's now got the Finnish driver of Mikulitsi, the Kimi Raikkonen of AOR 3, or Mika Hakkinen, whatever he'd like. He is in 5th position right now. Very good for Mikulitsi. It's a pretty precarious position for him. I don't know where his best result has been, but Yaskov's really dropped off here, so it looks like it's going to be 3 sets of DRS trains throughout the field.
Seems like there's some fighting going in the back here with Jamie, James, Vaporon, Ayrton and Bruno for P9 at the moment. Ayrton looking to put possibly a little bit of a fight on the McLaren driver, but no, actually loses a bit on the exit of the final corner. Jamie James though looking the closest at the moment, as he is on the soft tyres compared to 2 medium runners ahead of him.
Anderoa goes up the inside into turn number 3. Sorry to butt in there, but he's now made the move on Forbes.
Jamie James though with a big dive on the Haas driver, Vaporon there. Vaporon decides to let him go and possibly use, allow Jamie James to pull him a bit further up the grid here.
They don't want to fight too much because they've already lost DRS ahead to Artillero, who's also looking to fall back from Baki up ahead, so he's kind of entering his own world. And with it, the DRS being so powerful here, he's not really going to be able to fight them much. He might slip back into the clutches of this battle behind.
Well, it seems like consistency for Forbes at the moment isn't really doing that great for him at the moment. Well, I've said at the moment twice. I've done a Sam Thompson. Forbes looking to take back the position though, as he has a nice turn 1. Will he get the move done going into turn, I'm just going to call it turn 2, and he moves to the right hand side of the track, down the inside of the Alfa Romeo driver, but the Alfa Romeo driver holds it and keeps his wing in there, but it's a very good exit from Forbes there.
Will it be wise for Anderoa to not fight this too hard, because you're going to kill the tyres if you battle for position, especially this early on in the race, where you can harm yourself for later when the pit stops become a factor. So Anderoa and Forbes going to look to be exchanging the lead for a number of laps now.
Well, lower down the field we have NER Ayrton and Jamie James going side by side through both the left-handers. This is beautiful battling here, and very clean to see both of them survive them corners. It's very tricky to go side by side anywhere in this track, to be honest, as it's very tight and very fast flowing. 5-second penalty awarded for corner.
Jamie James. I don't know what happened there, but I think he might have overtaken Ayrton off the track and he couldn't give the position back to the Renault driver, so he now has to serve a 5-second time penalty.
mean, I watched that. It might have been on the second sector, but let's look ahead as Artillero hits the back of Baki there, almost smashing him into Narnia. Andreo, though, losing the position to Forbes. Do you think he'll be able to bring more of a fight to him?
I definitely think so. They're going to be able to slipstream off each other and then exchange their positions. But then when it comes to it, he is going to put all the pressure on Forbes, and it's going to be who is the more confident driver.
But I think we need to look at, well, see here, he's actually looking like the favourite to win. We know how easy it is to get penalties around here. So he's just kind of sticking in the background here, waiting to make a move. And let's say these two battle hard and possibly get a few warnings here and there for pushing hard, and then he's just sitting there in the background with barely any warnings and ready just to take the win by the checkered flag.
Yeah, it could be a strategical move for Will, but he's not got much ERS to play with. It might be wise for him to just hang in the ERS and not in the DRS and not try and use up as much of his energy. But saying that, he does seem to be falling back from these two. It looks like he's not really on the pace compared to Anderoa and Forbes. And he might lose out if he saves too much ERS.
Well, speaking of ERS, Yazkov_DM is draining a lot to try and bridge this gap to the front runners, and he is having a little bit of success with it, as well as he isn't really having the most consistency in the second sector, which is where Yazkov is gaining the most. Coming through the final corner, we'll see what the gap is, but Cohen really just kind of using Yazkov at the moment for ERS savage and kind of pulling him along. It's just a case of if Yazkov does bridge this gap, it will be crucial to Cohen's race. Speaking of crucial, Andreo makes a move round the outside. Forbes does defend it and does go a bit deep, trying to defend the position. Andreo struggles to get the ultimate grip on the Racing Point driver and can't exactly fight him just yet. Going into turn 3 though, Andreo does dive it down the inside, does save it from the wall, but luckily that's actually held up the field a bit, and Yazkov is still in DRS, so Andreo may have lost a lot of positions, but overall it's maybe brought the field a bit more together.
I think it was completely self-inflicted. He didn't need to go for the overtake there, but he can't change it now. He's just got to get his head down and keep going. He might actually pull into the pits as he pulls to the right hand side of the track. Grunt a little bit wide out there. Also Cohen coming into the box. They are going to take off their soft tyres, and is it alright if I run through the AOR F1 race?
Yeah, sure.
That's just ended. It's Danny taking the win, then Lee Finley in second, third go to Blizzard, then fourth is Jonathan, fifth for Domi, Surface has taken sixth, seventh for Prenens, Speedster's in eighth, Gamers in ninth, and 10th goes to Casper. I won't read the rest because it's not on my screenshot.
Well, Mick is putting a fight against Baki, which is looking quite heated at the moment as they're really going at it here, the Red Bull and the Mercedes driver. But I want to speak about it's Cohen and Andreo, and it's a very smart move for them here. As the optimal pit stop, like I said, is lap 12. That's kind of the best position to pit, but the undercut can be very useful round here if you have the pace, and I reckon Cohen and Andreo definitely do, and we could be seeing them near the top guys once again. But no, Forbes will, Yazkov all decide to pit. Baki does not, he stays out, he's going to go for the overcut, same with Mick. So it's quite a good track for different strategies, different laps when they're going to pit, but mainly it's just soft to medium obviously, or medium to soft. But what I mean is, overcut and undercut is not really different, as Artillero has a bit of a loss of the back end, almost smashing into the wall, but does very nice to save it. Aaron making his way through the grid now into P5 after overtaking the Alfa Romeo driver.
Everyone.
Yep, I told you.
Unbelievable.
If you can be successful in it, and Cohen definitely had the pace, as he did save tons of ERS, remember, sticking behind, what was it, Yazkov? Had about 80% ERS, and he's just burned it all in that lap, using the hot lap and overtake, I guess, and it's really assisted him, taking him to effectively P1 for this race. Another thing actually to mention is Forbes has been jumped by Will.
Oh my word. That's crazy. That I think he might have been held up by maybe Will passing him in the pits, and he got held up by other drivers. And now further up the field there's a battle. Oh, never mind, it's not a battle. Gary James falls into the pits. Do you think that because Cohen was able to jump Will, Forbes and Yaskov, do you think that that might spell bad things for Mikulitsi and Baki, who have opted to stay out a lot longer in this race, in this stint?
Well, definitely, but in the end result, it could help them in the final few laps, as the mediums don't exactly go off with tyre wear, but can sometimes have temperature problems with the amount of battling and DRS trains there are. But looking on board right now with Cohen and Will, as Will gets a very nice run there, and Will take the lead. I forgot the word that it is. Provisional. No, net. There we go. The net lead of the Grand Prix, as Cohen kind of decides to let him by maybe and says, right, he has more pace than me at the moment. I'll get in between these two and kind of just DRS off both of them.
Absolutely. One of my favourite things to say is that you cannot win a race on lap 12. I mean, obviously not lap 12 in specifically, but
you can't win a race in one lap.
Exactly. As Will loses the back end on exit there, and Cohen is just going to sit in his DRS and not use up any ERS. Is going to stick it in none. You can see under braking how much he gains there, as now only 3 drivers yet to pit. It's the medium runners who started on the yellow wall tyres. It looks like a split decision for strategy, as
Caden goes Forbes goes round the outside of its Cohen there, trying to get grip there, but unsuccessful as the guy went out to the curb. It's almost impossible to really get the traction you need when you're on top of a curb. But Cohen doing very well to kind of stick his car right in the middle of the track, and also stick with Will G ahead of him. Yaskov, though, currently trying to bridge that gap to the net top 3 at the moment, like he was earlier, and Andreo also trying to catch the top 3 after his crucial mistake. Maybe a bit too late, maybe a bit too ambitious on Forbes around, I think it was lap 10? Lap 9? I think it was lap 9.
I think it was lap 10.
Well, it's one of them laps, so...
It's lap 10 because Andorra's tyres are 4 laps old.
Right, okay.
But I just want to quickly speak about their tyres. It seems like a split decision. Oh, okay.
Cohen moves down the inside, defending from Forbes here, and goes deep into the corner, pushing him out to the curb again. So it's just a copycat every lap, it seems, from Cohen, just shoving him out into that curb and making it impossible for Forbes to get the grip. So Forbes needs to try something new, maybe a different corner. But Cohen, we know, is very good at keeping position.
Well, if they're not careful, they're going to take each other out, so they've got to keep it cautious through that corner, turn 3. It is a prime overtaking opportunity, but Cohen holding the inside is really crucial for his race. As we move on to lap 15, it's Victorion leading from Ayrton and Solid Ninja Snake in 3rd. Those guys have not pitted. Will G holding the net lead of the Grand Prix.
Just making sure my mic, voice crack. Just making sure my mic is working properly. Is it loud enough?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Well, okay, so I just moved that bit. But Forbes also looking to take the fight back at Cohen, moves to the inside this time, does go for the dive as Will G is lagging a bit. It's a very big dive bomb there, tries to force Cohen off a bit, but Cohen will fight back as he's not really moving position. Will moves to the left hand side of the track, giving Cohen the slipstream here. Cohen dives it round the outside, but ultimately loses the position, and now Will G has to think about what his next steps are to try and stay ahead of his championship rival.
Well, now that was pretty pretty argy-bargy between those two. A lot of love taps from them, but it's also brought Yaskov into the DRS range of Cohen, so we could see him entering the fray as he now can deploy DRS, get that bit of drag reduction. Artillery with a 3-second time penalty. He's down in 11th. I don't know what happened to him. He's way down the order.
No, because remember he pitted when back Mick pitted.
Ah, okay.
Wait, Artillery you mean? Or...
Yeah.
Yeah. Forbes, it does though, dive it down the inside of his championship rival, Will G, and gets the move done. That's not what Will G would have wanted. Or wait, is it? Maybe he's playing a little bit of a tactical game here, and putting it in none ERS actually, saving it, and maybe fight for another date.
Well, speaking of ERS, look at how much Cohen's got. He's got 85% in that tank. He can deploy that carefree. He's got 60% more than Forbes right now, who's pushing to hold on to the provisional lead of the Grand Prix. Net lead, very sorry. But these guys are going to continue fighting. Forbes looks to be pulling a gap to Will G. It's a show of his pace that he's got here today.
Well, as these, the net top 4 at the moment look to catch the medium runners, the guys in the all-in strategy. Speaking of them drivers, Vaporon really putting a fight here on NER Ayrton. The Haas driver now making his way down the second DRS straight. Will he challenge a Renault into the third corner? No, he doesn't really, well, doesn't get close enough, but has a lot of ERS to spare here, so I think on his soft run he's going to make a lot of positions in this race.
Further down the order, Mikulitsy's lost P10 to Artillero, and he actually picked up a 3-second time penalty on exit of the of turn 3. Did Mikulitsy, so looks like it's going downhill for him. He sits out of the point and in 11th at the moment.
Vaporon has a big tank slapper going out the final corner there, and almost smashes it into the wall. But what a save from the Haas driver. That's why maybe the trade for Dylan's Red Bull, who's actually lagged out the session, might have not been the best option, because that Haas is very tail happy.
I've got the red glitch with Cohen. Oh, never mind, he was just revving his engine out, but he is now probably going to start using his ERS. He wants to get a move on Will G for the net lead of the Grand Prix. Forbes almost in the DRS range of Solid Ninja Snake.
That's not, yeah, you wouldn't be making the overtake for the net lead. Net second.
Right. Net second place, right, we'll go with that.
There's a little tap there actually. I think Will G what he needs to do here is let Cohen pass. It's the only way they're going to be able to stick with Forbes here. I think Will G really needs to take this option, because at the moment he's just holding up this pack a bit.
Well, Cohen could be the quickest out of the provisional podium drivers, but Will is he's gonna clench his teeth. He's not gonna let him by. Oh, he's waving him past. You can see that little weave there. He wants Cohen to overtake him. Well, that's at least what I think it is. Will's still using up all the ERS he can. Maybe he's not, as Forbes moved past Solid Ninja Snake. He didn't make that too difficult for him. But I think that was a little signal from Will there.
Well, I don't know what Solid Ninja Snake's gonna do here. Does he keep out the way of these drivers? No, he's gonna battle them. I don't get why he would do this. Let Forbes pass and then battle with Will. It's just not helping Will's race here.
It's also not going to help Cohen at a part of the track where it's difficult to overtake. See the difference in pace. It's really going to hamper Cohen here. Is now into the third sector. Solid Ninja Snake still going to hold to the outside. Cohen gets past him, but look at the time he has lost to Will G there.
Well, we know he's got the ERS available. We know he's got the most out of anyone. Is actually Will has under 10%, trying to keep up with the likes of Forbes at the moment, who is also quite, well, running quite low ERS. So really Cohen is in the position to win this race tonight.
Well, in Will's case, when you get under about 20% ERS, that's when it starts to drop off and it's actually not as powerful. That's at least what I've found. But he's still kept behind Forbes right now. He's going to have to save in the second sector, as Cohen can use it blissfully almost. He's got 70% in the tank right now, and he's within DRS range of Will.
Yazkov really struggling to stick with the pack here. And I don't know what's happened to Andreo, but he is now on the hard tyres. Or did he just... Has he been in the hard tyres for this whole time?
Yeah, I was trying to talk about it earlier, but things kept coming up. It looks like a split decision down the field. Andreo couldn't trust the medium tyres, which Cohen he's put his faith into it. They pitted at the exact same time. And Jamie James also gone onto the hard tyres. But what... Are we getting to the point where Ayrton, Vaporeon and Solid Ninja Snake are going to start thinking about making a pit stop?
Well, yeah, they would have to go an extra few laps, I would say. I mean, they could do it now, but another hit from Cohen to Will. Cohen just really not... I mean, we've seen this another week, where he tapped one of the drivers back in quite a few times, and actually smacked into one, giving him wing damage round Germany, I believe it was. So Cohen really just needs to chill out. He's got the pace, he doesn't need to rush things. You've got a whole thing and now he's very flustered.
He ran a little bit wide through the left-hander there, and that's actually inviting Yazkov back into the mixer here, but he's really dropped out from where he was getting a bit impatient. He let that get the best of him, and now he's slipping behind the Englishman.
Well, that really didn't help Will. I mean, it made the gap so much bigger to Forbes, and it might actually just ruin his chance to win this race. He has slipped back in the DRS, so after using a bit of VRS, the lot are struggling to kind of keep it a thing, as he has a little bit of a tank slapper there. But it does have the DRS now, luckily for Will. But I think there might be some chats between Cohen and Will after this race.
Things getting a bit heated between those two now. Cohen is outside the DRS, who's actually just dipped back in to the 1 second you need. But Yazkov could be in a position to take provisional net P3 from Cohen. I'll get it right one day. Just on that side note, Vaporeon came into the pits, he's now fitted the soft tyres, he's going to the end. That could trigger NER Ayrton to come in any moment now.
Well, he's already setting the purple sector 2, and he's on really low. Well, he'll be on lower fuel than anyone else. He'll literally be an unstoppable force in this Grand Prix now. As Artillero and Mick literally go at it in turn 1. Artillero getting it down at the inside, but Mick doesn't have the DRS to kind of come back at him up the hill, but maybe down the hill he'll get another chance. Activating the DRS, the Red Bull chases the Alfa Romeo, and he will not be close enough to make a move just yet. But further ahead is a Renault and an Alfa Romeo going at it, coming into the double left-hander, going into sector 3, I believe now. Losing a bit of time, the Solid Ninja Stick is, with his 22 lap old mediums.
He probably is going to want to pit like his teammate, and maybe next lap actually, because he's going to get held up if he comes in. As NER Ayrton comes into the pits, he's going to fit soft tyres. Look at how much Vaporeon has gained. He's coming down the start-finish straight right now. NER Ayrton's just come out of the box, so the undercut is so powerful here as Vaporeon sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Now we no longer have to say net lead for Forbes, Will and Cohen's battle, because it is the lead.
Well, here it goes Cohen. He looks to put up maybe a fight on Multi. Yazkov has lost the DRS and now he's kind of in a space of his own. All he has to do is look ahead and push as the gap is 1.1 seconds ahead.
Oh, Will G with a bit of a fishtail there. Almost spins it out of turn 6, I think. I don't know, but it lost a little bit of time to Forbes as Cohen still lurks in the background. Once again, he's managing his ERS a lot better than the Fire Void Academy drivers.
Well, maybe he's just not pushing as much. I would say so far in this race, Cohen is the quickest driver on the circuit with race pace around here. He's definitely showed that he's got the pace, maybe not the patience though tonight, as he did have 2 little taps of the championship leader, Will G.
Absolutely, he's a driver I can definitely get behind for driver of the day. But of course the race isn't over. We still have 11 and a bit laps to go in this Grand Prix. Still all to play for. Once again, Yazkov dropping out of DRS Rangers now and Aurora. His tyres have definitely come up to temperature. They might be almost at the crossover point where he's going to be quicker than the medium runners. But definitely not yet.
No, it's not yet. It's like around, I would say, lap 15 of the mediums that his tyres will be a lot better.
Well, they are on lap 15 now, so he's going to be quicker than Yazkov and Aurora. No, he's not going to be quicker than himself. He's going to be quicker than... Oh, he's gone into the
he's
grass.
Done the same as what his teammate done earlier. He's done the same as what he's done or what his teammate done earlier. Sultan the Stake actually is now attacking his teammate. Same with Mick as he moves to the right hand side of the track. Artillero defends down the inside. Does not hold the position against a Renault driver. And Sultan the Stake fighting the Red Bull and the Alpha with 25 lap old medium tyres. The guy has not pitted yet. He's hoping for a safety car, I would say.
Well, he'd have been hoping for a safety car a lot longer ago now. I don't know what came out of my mouth there. A long time ago.
There you go.
Now he's about to fall into the clutches of a driver he was fighting earlier, so he's lost a pit stop to Vaporeon around the outside of the penultimate corner. He lets him go, and he is going to come into the pit lane sheepishly to take off those 25 lap old medium tyres. He's done well to preserve them this long, but it's time for a change. He's going to fit the soft tyres and maybe set the fastest lap.
Well, the pace from Vaporon, where do you think that's going to pull him in at the end of, or by the end of the race?
I think these tyres are eventually going to go off, but I think he can take maybe 6th position. I think under Roa, his pace won't last forever. He might make a couple more mistakes because he's not had the cleanest race as the Alfa Romeo driver. So I think Vaporeon can get 6th position today.
As Mick goes down the inside of Artillero, these two have been having a very heated race all race long now. And the Red Bull driver looks to try and do anything to get ahead of him, as he does see the option of 6th place. But Vaporon is chasing both of the medium drivers around the circuit at the moment, really pushing them through some of the corners. But more importantly, Ayrton, right, NER Ayrton, has managed to catch up to Vaporon, has 2 lap fresher tyres, and is realistically either the same pace or a little bit faster.
Will to the inside of Forbes there. He's not going to make the move stick. Cohen's going to be pushing him here. As sorry to butt in there, but he almost got past him. He's suffering with lag issues. That made him maybe look like he went down the inside for me, but he didn't. I just want to comment. Cohen's taken a 3-second time penalty just about this time last lap. He got another warning to add to his tally, and now he sits on 3 seconds, so he's going to want to get a move on and pull out a gap to these guys.
I'm watching this fight between Vaporon, Artillero and Mick. Vaporon does get the move done in both of them this lap. Ayrton now needs to focus on doing the same if he wants to challenge Vaporon.
Well, 2 cars between Vaporon and Ayrton. That's going to be crucial for preserving Vaporon's race, but of course it won't be too difficult with how powerful DRS is on the circuit. It won't be hard for Ayrton to get past these 2 slower medium runners.
Well, back in with a 3-second penalty in P5 at the moment, and Drill managing to hold in the 3-second penalty, and has actually made a bit of a gap after all that battling behind.
He's certainly done well this race to recover from what's happened, as he still has a chance. Mobility takes, I think, another 3-second time penalty. It might be his second there. He's going to lose out to NER Ayrton very soon, but not quite into turn number 4. But look at the gap that Artillero and Vaporon have pulled out to the Red Bull driver. Very large, just under 1.5 seconds.
Artillero using everything to stay with Vaporon at the moment. It's really working here. I mean, both of them have realistically gained about 4 to 5 times on Andreo this lap. Is it Anderoa? Have we been pronouncing it wrong this time?
I've been pronouncing it right. You've been pronouncing it wrong, but I didn't want to correct you on stream.
Well, it's easier, Andreo.
That goes for, Will. Sorry to butt him once again.
Oh, and Cohen takes his Will! Cohen also looking to challenge Will as well, has no DRS, he lags back, goes into the Mercedes driver, and Cohen will challenge round the outside, and might get the move done. He's still there, Will almost spinning off the Mercedes driver. Forbes now moving to the right hand of the track, round the outside of Mercedes, doesn't get it done just yet, and it will have to back out. Should actually try and send it back up the side. A little bit of a cheeky move there from Forbes. Cohen weaving, telling them, have a bit of a stop. Cohen's a quicker car, let's get this done.
Well, those two are hopefully going to work together to get past Will G. Of course, not hopefully in terms of my own support.
Oh, but Cohen almost does it again. Just too eager on the brakes and allowed Forbes to come back at him on the left hand side of the track as they go up the hill. Cohen will have the inside line and move. No, he's very good at defending this. Will, though, for some reason moves to the middle of the track. Cohen puts Forbes into the curb, meaning he can't get on the throttle. Cohen holding the position. Yazkov is now available to possibly fight the top 3 and could possibly, as Forbes dives back down the inside of Cohen. And another little cheeky dive bomb from Forbes, and now he looks to set his eyes back on his championship rival, Will G.
One thing I'm wondering is, why is Forbes fighting this so hard? He knows that Cohen has 3 seconds added onto his race time, so why fight him so hard when you know you're going to get past him? It's pretty interesting there, but I think tensions are rising between these 2 drivers.
Well, we know both of them are very, very aggressive, and doing that to Cohen means Cohen will do it back as now they go up the hill. Will G with nothing to defend himself except from ERS and fuel mixture. But going up the hill, Forbes won't catch just yet, but into the second DRS straight with that pad OP grip coming out this corner. He will be sure to make an overtake. Now down the hill they go, activating DRS and moving to the right hand side of the track. Will does, and it's a big dive from Forbes round the outside of the Williams car, and does get it down, does get the grip, holding the inside line. A little bit of a lag from Will G is not helping this fight, and there's a little bit more tapping from Will G and Forbes, meaning no. that's
no. Forbes
too aggressive. It was like what we seen earlier with Andreo and Forbes. Forbes doing a very similar kind of move, just in a different corner. Now this allowed Cohen to get a little bit of a gap, possibly push Yazkov in net P3 position at the moment, and could be taking his second podium of the season, I believe.
Well, this time he's really shown that he's actually...
I'm sorry to cut you off, Cohen with a big tank slapper. Forbes fakes the left, goes to the right, down the inside of the Mercedes driver. Cohen holds it switchback, it seems, but there's no way you're going to beat Forbes on the grip there. As now they head down the hill. Forbes getting no DRS. Will Cohen answer back with a dive bomb? He's going to go round the outside. That's probably not the smartest move when Forbes is defending the way he has been recently, but does it keep it clean? Cohen holds position on the left hand side of the track and does get it done. Whew, what a fight. Oh my god.
I'm still wondering why Forbes is fighting Cohen so hard. It's really inviting Yaskov into the fight. Maybe he's trying to put a car between him and the McLaren driver because he recognises him as a true force right now to be reckoned with. Will has now dropped behind Baki, who finds himself in 4th place, trying to catch up to Yaskov, Forbes and Cohen, but still 3 laps to go in this Grand Prix.
Yaskov almost smashing into the back of Forbes there into turn 1. A lot of people having brake issues. Cohen though moves to the left hand side of the track. Forbes down the inside going up the hill. Cohen will let the move go just for the moment and will come back at him into turn 3. Now down the hill, activating DRS. Isn't really close enough to the racing point this lap, I would say. But will he make a little bit of a dive? Does break in, taps him just a tiny bit. And Forbes maybe not caught was left in the tyres after so much battling.
Well, they're getting to the point where
yellow
they're
flags
starting to die, and I think that is Artillero.
Again.
Gravel. Yeah, it is.
Not been the best race for both Alfa Romeo drivers, and it looks like the AOR F3 lobby admin is actually going to come overtake him here in his Ferrari. Not really seen Zach much this race either, but he is going to get a move done, it seems, on the Alfa Romeo. Not into the penultimate corner, but possibly down the main straight. Oh! Artillero brakes really heavily there, going into the final corner, but more importantly, Cohen moves to the left hand side of the track, braking very late, trying to challenge Forbes into turn 2. Cohen will come back at him though on the second DRS straight. There's also more fights going on between FEA, Will G and Baki for 4th position of the Grand Prix. Will G down the inside, Baki defends well. Cohen also doing a copycat with his teammate, but Cohen does have success back round the outside of Forbes. Yaskov in P3, just kind of watching with a big, I don't know what you would call it, a big cardboard box of popcorn at the moment. That's what I would say, but yet to really get involved.
He's just
Cohen, another tank slapper. Right.
That invites Forbes right back through. No DRS for the Mercedes driver, so Forbes going to be able to pull a little.
Here
bit
comes Yaskov. Stays to the middle of the track. Doesn't really go for a late braking move. But Yaskov is in that podium position. This could be huge for his race. Or his season, actually. As Cohen now weaves to the right, goes to the left again. Doesn't get it done, gets the switchback, will maximise at the exit. And will activate the DRS now down the hill. The Mercedes driver will be coming at the racing point for the final lap, for the final time. Round the outside of the hairpin, and does he get it done? Doesn't really have the grip that Forbes does out the corner, and will have to bow it down to the racing point driver just for the moment.
Well, it's the last lap of the Grand Prix, so he's not going to have many more opportunities to get Forbes back.
He's using everything.
I think it might be in the bag.
As there's actually two side by side, Will G and Baki for the penultimate corner. Will G will steal that position right in the latter stages of the Grand Prix. They all cross the line, and it is a great race, a stunning race. Will G in P3 getting the podium. Yaskov in a P2. Cohen finishes P4 after his penalty. Ayrton P5 on the soft tyres, beating out Vapor on his rival in this race. Baki P6, Andreo P7, Bruno P8, Vapor on P9, and Michelizzi P10. What a race. I mean, that's got to be, in my eyes, the best race of the season. Better than what Germany was at the end.
Well, that was quite intense all around. It is Racing Point back on top today. Caden Forbes finds himself winning the Grand Prix. Yaskov with another podium. This time he truly deserved it. He fought well and he defended hard. It was good from him. And rounding out the podium is Will G. That is the top 3. Congratulations to Caden Forbes today.
Well, it was a really hard fought fight, but I don't know, maybe if a penalty will be awarded from Will in Forbes, where Forbes really just went for a very, very stupid move on Will for the second left-hander and almost ruined his race and definitely ruined Will's chances of winning the race. But luckily, voice crack, luckily does it come through for P3. Let's go through the provisional grid though. FEA Forbes wins the race around Austria. In second is Yazkov. P3 will be Will G. P4 it's Cohen, NER in P5, back at P6, Andreo P7, Bruno P8, Vapor on P9, Michaelizzi P10, Solid as a Stake P11, LR Zach P12, Jamie James P13, Artillero P14, rounding off the grid. No DNS tonight. Maybe not the numbers that we would expect from AOR F3, but what a race. What a race.
Very entertaining to watch Grand Prix, and Forbes takes the victory. Yaskov, I think I'm going to say Yaskov was my driver of the day. He held it very well.
My driver of the day, even after some of the incidents, even after the penalty, it's got to be It's Cohen. I mean, what a drive in the end.
Well, just a number of races ago, he was, a number of weeks ago, he was in AOR 4, and he's been moved up now, sits in a very strong position. Good drive from him, but I'm going to stick with Yaskov.
Well, I mean, one of the best races I have witnessed is, well, in AOR is definitely, but I mean, we're seeing tons and tons of great battles in F3 at the moment, and it's all when it comes to that kind of latter stage of the Grand Prix. But if, for some reason this race, it was just constant action all over the field. But mainly, I really do have to give it prop for the whole top 5 today. I have another little voice crack. For the whole top 5, I mean, literally, I reckon I could give every single one of them a driver of the day today for their just amazing driving and their efforts to try and keep their position or try and make a position, and they were keeping it so clean. Yes, we had some little, very ambitious moves made by some people, but overall it was so clean for how it was lap after lap after lap of just battling.
Yeah, it was incredible to watch. Really, they were really aggressive with it. They weren't trying to play any mind games. It was just fight hard and hope for the best.
Well, we will end this stream there. Be sure to join us next week, where I don't know where we're at. I don't know. I'll definitely find out though, and you'll see us next week at some random track for round 12 of the AOR F3 season. It has been me, Brett, and Daniel as your hosts tonight, and we'll join you next week at 8 PM UK BST. There you go. Enjoy.